Hey guys, what's up? My name is Gianlucaditullio, and today I'm going to give you my 5 tips to get cinematic lighting. Number 1, my tip number 1 would be do research. When looking for your film and getting cinematic lighting, you got to do research. Either search up your films on YouTube, grab stills, look at them, study how they did the light, know the genre of your film. There's tons of websites on the internet to find film stills and film pictures. You can literally Google images, stills from your favorite films or films that you're using as reference to get cinematic lighting. You want to make sure that you're getting references from films that you like. You want to get stills that are related to your film and your genre and your story, most importantly. That brings me to step number 2. Step number 2 is make sure that the lighting lends to your story. So real films out there, they tend to have a certain lighting for each genre. Film noir's got its own lighting. Thrillers usually have a sort of lighting. Comedies have their own lighting. Daytime dramas got their own lighting. Those kind of things. They all got their own lighting look. And they're each cinematic, but for that genre. So if you're shooting a thriller genre and it doesn't look like a thriller, it doesn't mean it's not cinematic, but you might want to do that, and it could lend to it being more cinematic in a way. And just, it makes sense for the story if your story is a thriller. So look at films like the genre that you're doing, see what they've done in the past, see how you can change it, see how you can make it your own, and watch. There's tons of YouTube videos and other things teaching how to do that sort of cinematic lighting, especially like film noir. There's so many specific ones for that. Step number 3 would be to learn 3-point lighting and know when to break it. 3-point lighting is the most basic lighting setup in film and photography. You got your key light, your fill light, and your backlight. Me right now, I have only a key light and basically another, a fill light basically. Don't have any backlight, but that's okay because the wall is really close to me. And this is a little YouTube video. Doesn't have to be too cinematic. But also, 3-point lighting generally isn't that cinematic unless you use it well. Sometimes you break it and you use only a key light, or you use your fill light as the key light. Cinematic lighting often embraces shadows, and there's a lot of shadows in cinematic lighting and films. Step number 4 would be use soft lighting. Right now I'm using a softbox on this light here. This light here, not really, but this light isn't as strong as that one. So many films you don't really see too much harsh lighting unless that's what you're going for. Many films do use harsh lighting, but to get the cinematic look that most people are looking for, you want to use a softbox, something like a softbox, or something as diffusion. You can use a bed sheet. I have a white cloth that I use sometimes as like a DIY kind of scrim. You want to use that to make the lighting more natural and cinematic. Often when we're watching films, we usually think that there's no lighting, extra lighting going on, and it's just natural lighting in the scene. But really, that's probably not the case. Oftentimes there is a lot of light set up. It's diffused down to make it look natural to the scene. Step number 5. Number 5 isn't really so much of a lighting tip, but it's set dressing and practical lighting. Set dressing is really important in your scene, especially in lighting. You want to have things that don't really have too many reflections. You want to make sure things like colors of the walls, everything on the set matches with the lighting that is happening in the scene and the story. Film crews have teams of people working on things like set dressing and props, and everything eventually relates back to each other. So the lighting you choose for your scene and your genre, you want to make sure it complements everything in your scene, and you want to make sure things don't clash too much. You want to make sure your talent is wearing something that you kind of pop out from the background. Things like that will lead to a cinematic look in your film. The other thing I wanted to talk about is practical lighting. Oftentimes in film we see practical lighting. If you don't know what practical lighting is, well, that's when anytime you see a light in a shot in a film, it's often like a lamp or a street light, things like that. That's practical lighting. It adds light to your film, it lends depth to the scene, and it adds production value to the whole movie. Practical lighting is good for setting a mood and tone to your scene, and it just looks cinematic to have something in the scene other than studio lights. And so if you like this video, that's my top 5 tips for cinematic lighting. I know it wasn't too technical. I know it was more kind of theory based. I don't know what I'm saying right now. I don't know. Is this film school? What is it? Anyways, if you guys like this video, give it a like below, comment, subscribe to my channel for more. I got some more videos on the way.